The hull groaned softly under the weight of the sea, a deep, almost imperceptible creak like the exhale of an ancient leviathan. Cracks spiderwebbed faintly across one of the outer panels, cosmetic, not fatal. Yet, my heart? Well, it was pounding like I'd just sprinted across Mars without a suit. Hey y'all, Chase here. Yeah, I'm back again. The What If guy's been keeping me busy hopping across alien moons and distant galaxies, but today we're doing something different. The camera pans across a sapphire horizon. I'm 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands, and the water is as glassy and innocent as a postcard. But beneath that calm surface lies the deepest, darkest mystery on Earth. The Challenger Deep, an abyss so terrifying, even the ocean holds its breath. No, I'm not here to catch a tan, though that would be nice, I say, adjusting the frame of my camera with a smirk. I've got a mission. Not just to visit the deepest place on Earth. Nah, I'm going to step outside my sub. Into it. Into the black. You might scoff. People have already gone down there, you say. Sure, but not like this. Not outside. And before you ask, no, I'm not diving in with just my charming smile and a pair of Speedos. I've got my next-gen space suit, forged for the vacuum of space itself. If it can survive the nothingness of space, surely it can handle a bit of water pressure. Right? R.I.CEO, I call out to my ever-annoying onboard AI. How deep is it again? Maximum recorded depth of the Mariana Trench, 10,984 meters. R.I.CO replies in its eternally calm, condescending tone. That's 36,037 feet. The trench spans over 2,500 kilometers in length and plunges like a scar in the Earth's crust. Gulp. Well, I've come this far. Let's roll. Descent time? 2.5 hours. That's 150 minutes of pressure, silence, and creeping blackness. Okay, recording's live. Don't ask what kind of camera. I'm still waiting on that sponsorship deal. Hashtag, no free ads. We slip below 100 meters, what oceanographers call the epipelagic zone. The sun's rays still reach us here. It's almost serene. The light dances in golden ribbons, and for a moment, I forget I'm sinking toward Earth's underworld. Look at this. I grin, spinning slowly in zero-gravity suspension. They call it the sunlight zone. 90% of marine life lives here. Although I'm not seeing any of it. Your presence, R.I.CO mutters dryly, may have scared them off. Or maybe it's your creepy monotone. Just saying. But only minutes in, the light begins to die. The water turns to ink. The sunlight above fades into a ghostly shimmer. The ocean tightens its grip. Silence swells like a living thing. R.I.CO, I whisper, suddenly aware of the crushing black beyond the dome. What's the word for fear of? This? Bathyphobia, the fear of deep, dark places, he replies. Also, not to be confused with the blutophobia, the fear of bathing. Helpful? Not. I try to laugh, but there's something about the silence, this heavy, endless, drowning silence, that grabs you by the spine. And we've only just begun. The cabin lights flickered as the pressure outside whispered and groaned against the sub's metal skin. I could hear faint cracking noises, tiny reminders that I was thousands of meters underwater in a glorified tin can. All right, I muttered, trying to keep my voice steady. We're fine. Everything's fine. But deep inside, I felt the walls closing in. Not the physical ones, those were holding, barely, but the psychological ones. The pressure of being so far from any help, any sky, any light. I glanced at the camera and forced a grin. This is just between you and me, okay? I whispered, trying to shrug off the feeling of isolation. Let's not tell anyone I got the cold sweats down here. Autopilot engaged, said R.I.CO, my ever-loyal, ever-heartless AI. Heading to Challenger Deep. Would you like to reroute and abort the mission? Abort? No. Just, maybe some encouraging words would be nice, you know. I muttered. I do not have a heart. Yeah, that tracks. Well, Download one, then. I flipped a few switches to stabilize the lighting. Hold on. Rebooting lights now. Suddenly, a harsh buzz blared. Proximity alert. What now? I spun in my seat. I am not ready to die this early in the video. Running diagnostics, r.i.co replied with unsettling calm. System check complete. You are not dying. Yeah, no kidding. I knew that. Just caught me off guard. It was just a... The view outside shifted. A massive shadow. Fluid. Muscular. Alive. It's a whale. A giant whale. Confirmed. A sperm whale, r.i.co said. It appears the submersible sonar interfered with its echolocation. It mistook you for a rival predator. Great, I muttered, crossing messing with the largest toothed predator on Earth off the bucket list. Thanks, universe. I exhaled and tried to laugh. It came out weird. Tell me we're still on course, RICO. Negative. The whale encounter has resulted in a 12.5-degree deviation. Recalibration required. Oh, perfect. Guess we're taking the scenic route now. I leaned back and tried to shake off the nerves. This video's ruined. Please don't click off, guys. Course correction in progress, r.i.co said. And then, something shimmered outside the porthole. A silent bloom of pale blue and purple like a slow-motion explosion made of glass. Whoa! Jellyfish. Thousands of them. Glowing like floating lanterns in the abyss. Okay, wow. Okay, that's actually really beautiful. Some species of jellyfish exhibit bioluminescence, r.i.co informed me. A chemical reaction within their bodies allows them to produce light. I know what bioluminescence is. I snapped, not taking my eyes off the glowing tendrils. Let me have my cinematic moment, okay? We continued to sink. Depth, 2,000 meters. Elapsed mission time, 32.2 minutes. The water was darker now, thicker, almost like it resisted the sub's descent. Every light we carried seemed to dissolve into the black before it could illuminate more than a few meters ahead. Good news, I muttered. The deeper I go, the less likely I am to get body checked by another whale. Freaking whales. A flicker. A shape. Massive. Did I just see? r.i.co? Was that a megalodon? Negative, the AI replied. Megalodons have been extinct for approximately 3.6 million years. That was a giant squid. Oh! I paused. Well, that's somehow less comforting. You are fortunate it did not strike the submersible. Giant squid are attracted to light. Your submersible is essentially a luminous beacon in an otherwise pitch-dark environment. Fantastic, I sighed. Next time, remind me to install stealth mode. Noted. Then another light bloomed ahead, but this time it wasn't beautiful. It was haunting. r.i.co, what the hell is that? Anglerfish, it replied. Its bioluminescent lure mimics prey to attract other fish, and occasionally small submersibles. It hovered just beyond the glass, its grotesque teeth barely concealed behind a dangling orb of ghostly light. God, that is ugly as hell, I whispered. You are now entering the abyssal zone, r.i.co announced as if nothing had happened. Prepare for increased pressure, zero light, and limited biological presence. And with that, I braced myself. Deeper we went. Toward Challenger Deep. Toward the unknown. And toward whatever secrets waited for me, far below. The deeper we went, the darker it became, so dark that even the cold itself seemed to hum. Then something new caught my eye. A flicker. A ghostly plume of black smoke rising from the ocean floor. Wait, is that burning? I leaned closer to the viewport, heart pounding just a bit harder. Negative, r.i.co answered calmly. That is a hydrothermal vent. What appears to be smoke is actually a dense cloud of mineral-rich particles, superheated water laced with metals, sulfur, and other compounds. The light from the sub's exterior panels revealed an alien landscape, jagged, rocky terrain where scorching black plumes hissed from cracks in the Earth's crust like underwater volcanoes exhaling steam. Temperature around the vent is currently rising. Estimated peak, 370 degrees Celsius. Okay, science time, I grinned, even as a bead of sweat trickled down the side of my face. Let's get a closer look. Not recommended. R.I.C.O. warned. Approaching the vent will cause structural damage to the submersible. Heat and corrosive fluid exposure at this proximity may result in catastrophic failure. Right, okay, I said quickly, backing off. No need to become a deep-fried marshmallow. I like my atoms right where they are. The terrain soon changed. The bubbling chaos of the vent field faded behind us, and for a long while, there was nothing. No creatures. No light. Just an infinite darkness. Then we saw it. Rocks. Solid. Still. Familiar. I nearly cried. You have exited the abyssal zone, R.I.C.O. informed. Now entering the Hadal pelagic zone. The trench begins here. The words hit like a drumbeat in my chest. This was it. The Mariana Trench. The Hadal realm. A place so deep and pressurized that light itself never dared to enter. And I was going in. Okay, RICO. Give me the readout. Ambient temperature, 2 degrees Celsius. Pressure level, over 600 times greater than surface level. Human exposure would result in immediate physiological collapse, lung implosion, nitrogen narcosis, molecular breakdown. Well, that's comforting, I whispered, my breath fogging the inside of my visor. Good thing I've got my ultraspace suit. Right? But even the reinforced walls of the sub moaned with stress, and faint cracking sounds echoed through the hull like whispers from the deep. I could feel it in my bones. The weight of the ocean. The silence pressing against the glass. Still, the mission was clear. I checked the battery on my camera, nearly drained. Guess this is where I sign off for a bit, guys. Going radio silent until I reached the bottom. I turned off the main feed, letting the glow of the instruments be my only light. Then it happened. The sub touched down. Challenger Deep. The deepest point on Earth. And I was about to become the first human to step outside the sub in one piece. Or at least, that was the plan. I took a deep breath. All right, here we go. I unlocked the pressure chamber. The outer hatch hissed, resisting. A final warning groan echoed around me. 5 seconds. All I needed was 5 seconds outside. I stepped forward. 1. The cold was immediate. Not just a chill, but something that reached into the marrow of your soul. 2. The pressure pressed against my suit like a vice, but the armor held. 3. I looked around. The ocean floor was eerily still, ghostly, otherworldly. Life down here moved like a dream, slow and strange. 4. I raised my hand and waved to the camera. Somewhere up there, someone would see this. 5. And then, blackness. Cut to, static. An empty view of the trench. No motion. No comms. Back in the mission control room above, silence. I don't think he made it, someone muttered. But then came the familiar voice, crackling through the comms like a ghost returning from the dead. Hey, y'all. It's Chase. Yeah, that might have been a little too close. Laughter in the background. Relief. He wasn't gone. Because if there's one thing you can count on, it's that Chase always comes back for another wild, absurd, and not so death-defying adventure. Where to next? Maybe? Mercury. The closest planet to the sun. But that's a story for another time. The end. Would you like me to rewrite the Mercury adventure next in the same cinematic style?